fun. Whatever way you think about it, video games are awesome. But just like everything else in this world, they cost money to buy. And over the years, we've seen that video game prices have gone up and up and up. So why not let's go back to a time when things used to be normal. Game prices, believe it or not, used to be normal. They didn't leave you gasping for air at the last breath. So I guess there's no other place to start this video than by talking about games from the 1980s to 1990s, where they were priced anywhere between $50 to $60, which was pretty good in my opinion. I mean, these back then games were pretty small, so it made sense to price them not that big. And then as games kept on getting bigger, even though they had the same cartridges, it makes sense that they kept that pricing for a very long time. I mean, just look at this N64 game chart graph. These are some of the best and some of the most genre-defining games of all time, and they were all still $59.99, which I really commend. And then once games got easier to produce with CDs, with the PlayStations and Xbox and GameCube, AAA games had a set stone price of $50, which is, in my opinion at least, the best price for a video game. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's perfect. And the cherry on top, these games were priced this way, and they're mostly complete. Like, this was before the era of you're able to update your games through a software update on your game console. This was way before that. If you had this game, it did not have anything else, no updates, no microtransactions. Everything was complete, which is saying something because how goated this era of gaming was. I mean, we had some of the best and most genre-defining games of all time for all consoles during this era, at least in my opinion. But then, of course, consoles became a little bit more powerful. HD became the new standard, and because of that, games were becoming more graphically intense, and because of that, we saw a slight increase from $50 to $60, which was not that big of a deal. I mean, the reason why we went from 60 to 50 from, the N64 to the PlayStation and the GameCube was because discs were much cheaper to produce. All you had to do was just buy a set of these, and then you're basically set. So I don't think it was that big of a problem to see games go back to $60, and pretty much everyone on the planet didn't really have a problem with it. Especially because it stayed that way for 15 years. We saw that price go throughout 2 whole console generations, which is pretty outstanding in my opinion. But of course, nothing good ever lasts, because starting from the PS5 and Xbox Series X era, which we're currently in now, mainstream games are now priced at $70, which I don't fully understand. The PS5 is slightly more powerful than a PS4 Pro, which had its games at $60 still. So I don't see the big price upgrade, especially because in the first 2 years or so, some PS5 games that were $70 could be bought on a PS4 for $60. So why not have a big price for all versions? Isn't that very simple to do? And because more and more games kept on being $70 as the PS4 and Xbox One started fading away, other game publishers took note of this, and they started charging their games at $70. Even Nintendo dropped their own $70 game when the Switch, which was as powerful as an Xbox 360, still kept the $60 price tag. They dropped one $70 game, Tears of the Kingdom, which, as a one-time thing, I kind of understand, but it still made it a bit worrying for me, because what if $70 became the new norm and we would go on to $80, $90, $100? Well, $80, $90, and $100 became the norm through another kind of gaming venture. Deluxe editions and gold editions. Oh yes, and collector's editions. These ginormous boxes, and many games had this as well, where they had more microtransactions, many things locked behind a paywall, and it was just really stupid. Companies like EA and Ubisoft are still doing this to this very day, and it really angers me as someone who really wants to work for everything in a video game, actually earn those 2 million points or whatever they're charging behind the paywall. It's really obnoxious when all you have to do is just pay an extra $30 and you get it just like that. Gaming is more expensive than ever now, and even though production costs are going up, publishers are still making record profits. Whether that's from sales from the actual game itself or the DLC and microtransactions and day one passes, that's up to you to decide. But just like many other things in this world, things need to have a set price or else things are going to get out of control. And things are starting to get out of control with the Nintendo Switch 2. We obviously know that Nintendo are going to charge their mainstream games like Donkey Kong Bonanza $70, which I'm not really that big of a fan of because I just don't like games being $70. And also, the Switch 2 is about as powerful as a PS4, not a PS5. So, with that distinction, the game should still be $60 in my opinion. And of course, Mario Kart World being $80 is just a big slap in the face. And that's without any microtransactions or DLCs, because Nintendo is not the type to really do that, which I do commend. But charging $80 for a base game? Remember back in the day when games like GTA San Andreas would cost you $50? Only $50 for San Andreas, and now Mario Kart World is $80? As a game developer and publisher, please ask yourself, is this sustainable? Because I will tell you now, the short answer is no, and we should stop doing this. Like seriously, the fact that people like pick and choose when it comes to gaming is astonishing. Like, of course you're going to be mad at Nintendo Switch 2 being $450 and Mario Kart World being $80, but there are some people out there that are fine with the PS5 Pro being $700 and The Last of Us Part 1 being $70. That is just outrageous to me. Like, you can spend that money on literally anything else and you'd still have a more valuable purchase. Like a guitar.